Hey guys, I wanted to make a video tonight kind of posing a few questions, and the first is, would you ever read a complete stranger's journal? And if so, would it matter if it was a modern one or if it was an antique one? And then also, would you ever sell your journals, and under what condition would you even consider it? So, as just window shopping on Fleabay the other night, I was looking at Lisa Frank vintage stuff, and this listing here randomly popped up for me. I've never seen a modern journal for sale, and this one's from, it looks like from 2014, so it's modern, and no, this is not my journal. I'm troubled, but I'm not a teenager. But yeah, this is modern. It's only a handful of years old, and I've just never seen recent journals like that for sale, or even really modern teenage journals. I've seen, 100-year-old antique journals for sale before, like these. These are from the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, and I've seen that sort of thing for sale online or in antique stores and that kind of thing, but I've never seen modern ones. And I think it's really interesting how we're so intrigued by each other's life, even modern times. Like, these antique journals makes sense to me to read, since it's just so, it's like a lost era. It's like going back in time. But with these modern ones, it kind of makes me wonder how many people would really read a stranger's journal. I think it'd be interesting to see what's in it, especially since this person seems like they might be able to relate to some of my crap. And I really like, okay, you can't see my hands, I don't have to use this. I really like this journal here. It looks like either a kind of 1990s, maybe 1980s, either C.R. Gibson fabric journal or maybe a Quillmark one. I want a blank one in this. It's just really pretty and kind of dark at the same time, like my soul. But anyway, I have no idea who this person is. It kind of makes me wonder. Their description says used by a 14 to 16-year-old at the time. So are these people selling their own journals, or did they just stumble on them in a garage sale, or how did people end up with this stuff? And same with the vintage ones. Are these people related to the journal writers here, or did they just stumble on them? Did they find them in the trash? I actually saw a book where this just author stumbled on a diary in a trash dump in New York City, and he actually figured out whose journal it was, contacted her, and then he wrote I think it was a bestseller. It was a really popular book for a while. I forget the name of it. I haven't actually read it, but he found an old journal just in a trash can, picked it up and read it, and was intrigued by it, and people were just fascinated seeing a glimpse into history. So anyway, I guess that's my question for you tonight. Just, would you read someone else's journal, and would you read a modern one, like if it was a few years old or less, or would it take something historical like this? And check out these journals. I really like looking at it because it's just like kind of, it's kind of like used journal collection videos, but in the form of listings. And they're just so quaint looking, especially the really old ones. And I guess I can give my personal answer. I would totally, I mean, I'm not in the market to buy people's journals because I'm like poor and everything, but I would totally read it. Like, if someone was like, hey, do you want to read my journal? I'd be like, yeah. And I think I'd just skim through it. I don't think I'd actually read every page, just kind of like I don't really read every page of my old ones either. And looking at these really old ones like this, it kind of makes me wonder if the writer of these journals, if their descendants just didn't want them, or if they outlived all their descendants, or how these journals came into the public auction. And it could be that this person had, many dozens of used journals over their life, and their family decided to keep some but not all. And I kind of could picture that happening with mine. I have about, I want to say 60, 70 something used journals right now, from a little over a decade of journaling, and plus some from when I was a kid, kind of on and off for a number of years then. And I don't think my descendants would ever read all of them, but if they read a few, I mean, even if they kept a few from each time, that would be kind of enough to get a glimpse into my life. I could see, the extras ending up in some kind of auction one day. The antique handwriting is really neat too. There's a few others that are more modern too. Like, this one's from last year. It's like, how did this person come across this? Like, it's modern, and warning, there are cuss words. So do you think that these people are selling their own journals? Or are they selling a someone in their family's journal. It's just intriguing. And just the whole recent journal selling just really intrigues me. This one's really neat. It's from the 1930s. But yeah, I would totally read all of them. And as far as selling journals, I don't think I really would be inclined to do that. But then it kind of makes me ask myself, well, if someone was like, hey, I'll give you $1 million for your journal, like, it, you know, if that was the case, like, if it was some kind of life-changing number, would it change your mind at all? And I think it'd at least make me consider it, but no one's going to give you $1 million for journals, I realize that. But if it was some kind of huge amount, would that affect your decision there? Like, if you could really change your family's life and make a lot of new memories, would that affect your willingness to sell or burn or whatever your journals? And I kind of think that at some point, for some huge amount that no one would ever give you, maybe then it would. But as far as just normal selling it, I can't picture myself being inclined to do that. I really can't picture anyone like wanting to buy my journals in the first place. But if they were really old like that, I think that would be cool. If I was elderly and I had some old journals, like, I think I would be willing to give a few to my kid or grandkid, or my cousin's kids are not going to even know me, so they won't want my journals. But if there was some kind of quaint young person who was vaguely interested in writing, I think I'd maybe consider giving them a journal from my past if I had, 100 used journals at that point by the time I'm old. But I do really like looking at old journal auctions. There's a website that you can actually read antique journals, and it's kind of dated looking, but it's pickle.co.uk. Well, I guess you can just kind of type it there. But it has over 500 journals. You can just read them online. I mean, the website's kind of not the easiest to navigate, but if you click through enough, eventually you can find them. I've sometimes read antique journals online like that. A lot of the handwriting is really hard to read. I've never really found modern journals except for blogs. Like, I've never seen a journal that would have stuff like this 2014 teenager journal. I was going to show you a few more, just because I thought this was so weird that even modern journals are interesting to random strangers. Like, who are these people buying this? And it's intriguing. Like, just some random stranger's journal is already going for $65, and it's got a day left. I mean, I wonder if it's maybe someone who knows any of these people buying it, or just people who are, I don't know, maybe students in psychology or sociology just interested in what's on the minds of teenagers today, or if it's old people trying to remember what it was like to be young. I don't know. I think it'd be cool to read them, but I'm cheap, so I wouldn't actually buy them at the moment unless it's just really cheap. But it's intriguing. There's so many online. I just didn't want to completely freeze up my computer and not be able to make a video. It's kind of interesting to see what people write about, so what you write can feel a little bit more normal when you see other people writing about intense emotions, or they're just writing about daily life stuff and it matters to them, so it kind of matters. It's easier to make it feel like it is worth writing in your own diaries, journals, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, these are my favorite. This is, how many is this? 6-minute journals for $153, and there's still 17 hours left. But anyway, there's tons of them online, and especially the vintage ones. I just randomly stumbled on this modern one lately, but I've seen a few this week. And anyway, let me know if you've ever seen written journals for sale, or if you've ever come across someone's journal in a trash can, or if you found one at school, or I don't know, in a train station or something. I don't know. Anyway, I hope this was moderately interesting. I like thinking about stuff like this and asking myself if I'd read someone else's journal and why, or if I would, sell mine and under what conditions, and just thinking about how intrigued by other people's, private lives that we can get. Anyway, have a good one. Okay, bye.